Hey friends, it's Rosalind. Welcome back to our gardens and our tiny farm. The past month, we have been talking a lot about growing flowers from seed, especially using the winter sowing method. But we are in the very last few days of January, which means February is almost here. So I thought today we would work together on creating a DIY Valentine-inspired rose bouquet right on top of a wine bottle. But first, we're going to add just a few touches of Valentine's here and there. This time of year, I get so excited about Valentine's. Even though I enjoy the holiday itself, the biggest reason I look forward to Valentine's is because it seems like shortly after February 14th, the days seem brighter and just a tiny bit warmer. In a few weeks, we might even catch the first appearances of snowdrop flowers here in northern Indiana. Soon after that, we'll see crocus and Lenten roses, which will fade into daffodils, and before we know it, spring will be here. So grab yourself a cup of something cozy, relax, and let's create something lovely together to help these winter days feel a bit brighter. I hope you guys enjoyed doing just a little bit of Valentine's decorating with me. It was so fun that the amaryllis ball bloomed just in time to kind of incorporate into our Valentine's decor. So I have to head out and get the flowers or buy the flowers that we are going to be using to create the bouquet with today. Typically don't create bouquets for customers that aren't made with flowers from my own flower gardens. So this is going to be a little different, but it was such a fun bouquet that I couldn't turn down this order. And I think we are also going to stop at the thrift store together on the way because I've been wanting to add maybe just a few touches of vintage Valentine's decor, and we'll see if we can find anything. But some of you have been asking for gardening book recommendations, and I have been reading a couple different gardening books throughout the month of January that have been so good. And I thought, whenever I find a book that I think you guys might enjoy, I would like to share it with you. And so when it comes to gardening books, I love books that are filled with not only all kinds of details on how to maybe create a certain garden scene, but I also love looking at like just seeing beautiful garden inspiration in pictures. So this is one that I have been reading. It's Martha Stewart's Garden Handbook. If you don't have this one, I highly recommend adding it to your garden library. It is just, I don't know, it is filled with all kinds of information from like garden planning to planting trees to pruning your shrubs and roses. And I mean, there is different garden design plans. It is so inspiring. So highly recommend adding this one to your library. But okay, let's head out and see if we can find anything at the thrift store. All right, friends, today we are going to be creating a floral arrangement on top of a wine bottle. So it has been so cold and just snowy here in northern Indiana. Last week we did those milk jugs with seeds together and set them outside in the snow. They're completely covered in snow. Our daytime temperatures have been like around 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and at night it's been dipping down into the negatives, and our wind chill has been around like negative 20 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit. And I think if you in Celsius, that would be like around negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's been quite cold. I was going to do this project out in the little corner of the garage where I do a lot of projects with you guys. And it's even like it's 25 degrees in the garage. And I thought, oh, I think we'll just be inside today. So this is actually an order for someone. He wanted to have a floral arrangement done on top of a wine bottle for his wife. And I thought this would actually be very sweet as a Valentine's gift to give to a friend or to someone special in your life. So I wanted to share this project with all of you. So we have been already soaking our floral foam, and we have measured it out to fit on top of the wine bottle. And if you haven't worked with floral foam before, you want to slowly just like let it sit in the water so it can soak up all of that water. If you force it into water, it can get air pockets in the floral foam, which means there's dry pockets in that foam. And then you're sticking your flowers into that foam and it doesn't have any, like in that little dry pocket, it doesn't have any water, which can be damaging for your fresh flowers. But we are going to be working with, we have some roses. Aren't these just gorgeous? And these chrysanthemums. Oh my goodness. Look at these big chrysanthemums. There's some greenery in here. And I'm not sure if these are supposed to be like miniature chrysanthemums or if they're supposed to be like little daisies. But then we also have some baby's breath. We are just going to create this together and see what we come up with. The foam has been soaking for probably 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes, and it has soaked up all of that water. This bowl was full of water. Now we're just going to set the foam on top of our wine bottle. And I do have a towel sitting here in case there's water that will dribble out of the foam as we press those flowers in there. I think what I'd like to do is have like the bigger flowers, the chrysanthemums, maybe down here around the edges, and then we'll maybe have the roses, maybe some baby's breath on top, and then maybe have the greenery kind of towards the bottom. I don't know. We'll see what we come up with. All right, got a scissors. This is not my normal snips that I use for floral arrangements. I haven't done floral arrangements since like October, and we're at the end of January. But thankfully, grocery stores have flowers, so we can still make floral arrangements. We're going to remove the leaves. Probably don't need to remove all of those because we're going to cut it down. I'm thinking maybe something like this. Always want to leave our stems longer than we think we might need them because we can always just cut it shorter later, but we can't add size to it after we have cut it. All right. We're going to fill it with the bigger flowers, and then we'll kind of fill in the empty spaces with the baby's breath and the greenery. Okay, so we have quite a few roses already. I think I'm going to go in with just a couple stems. This definitely looks like chrysanthemums because of the leaves. I'm going to go in with a couple stems of these. That will hopefully kind of fill in some of those gaps. We want to make sure that our stems are actually in the foam and not kind of sticking out from the bottoms or anything. That way they do get that water for sure. Oh, It's starting to look very sweet. I'm going to go in with a couple sprigs of baby's breath already because we do have quite a bit of baby's breath, and that will just kind of fill everything in. The baby's breath also gives the arrangement a little bit of movement. This side doesn't have any big flowers in it yet, so I'm just going to put a soft rose-colored rose flower in there. We only have a couple more roses left, and then we're going to start filling in with the greenery and the baby's breath. It is coming together quite sweetly, but you can see that there's quite a bit of green foam still showing, so I'm going to come in with some greenery and try to hide more of that. But we're also going to have like tissue paper coming up, and it'll hide a lot of it, but when she takes it off of the wine bottle and sets it in a bowl, I want a lot of the green parts, the green foam hidden. We ended up using that whole bucket of flowers. I wasn't sure that everything would fit on here, but there is 1.5 dozen of roses. We have 3 of the big chrysanthemums. There is eucalyptus, and then we also have those small sprays of chrysanthemum, and then just a whole bunch of baby's breath to kind of fill in all those spots. But now we are going to put some tissue paper on the bottom and tie it off with a bow, and it's ready to go out the door. I think we're going to first put it into this plastic wrap so our tissue paper that we're going to be using doesn't get wet. See what that looks like. Now we're going to finish it off with a couple layers of tissue paper, just to make it look very pretty. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Isn't that so pretty? I think we're going to tie it off with a bow, and that will give it the finishing touch. Well, friends, I think this has been the most fun project that I have worked on all winter. So I usually only make flower arrangements from my own flower gardens, but our flowers, they start blooming usually end of March, and then by mid-October, they're usually finished. And so this was very fun. Even though they are grocery store flowers, they turn out so pretty. I hope you enjoyed putting this arrangement together as much as I have, and I hope it gives you ideas for Valentine's flowers and Valentine's gifts. But as the weather hopefully starts warming, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we can hopefully start working more outside. And I have a whole bunch of projects lined up that we are going to be working on together this spring and summer. But thank you for hanging out with me today, friends. Have an amazing week, and I will see you right back here real soon. Bye.